The Ukraine-Russia war enters day 23 with Kyiv reeling under Moscow's shelling. From Kharkiv to Kherson to Vyshgorod, Ukrainian cities are left bruised and battered amid the relentless shelling. In Ukrainian capital Kyiv, a building was seen in raging fire, while in Kharkiv, one of the largest markets in Eastern Europe, Barabashevo was set ablaze. The kindergarten school too was left in ruins after the attack in Kharkiv. In Kherson, citizens refused to accept handouts from the occupiers, and in Vyshgorod, Ukrainian flag was removed from public administration building. The Russian strikes in Chernihiv claimed 53 lives. Devastating images came from Kyiv's Svyatoshinsky area, where sharp flames can be seen ravaging in the air.
Робити Україну, щоб стати членом НАТО, бути в безпеці, отримати гарантії безпеки. Ми чули відповідь, рішення такого на столі поки що немає. І найближчим часом не буде. Як і крісла для нас за цим столом. Як ви зволікаєте і зараз з питанням про вступ України в Євросоюз, якщо відверто, для деяких це політика, а насправді це каміння для нової стіни. Коли ми просили про превентивні санкції, ми звертались до Європи, ми звертались до багатьох країн, ми звертались до вас. Санкції такі, щоб агресор відчув, що ви сила. Ми бачили затягування, ми відчули спротив, ми зрозуміли, що ви хочете продовжувати економіку. І зараз торгівельні маршрути між...
As Ukraine continues to fight back, Ukrainian boxing legend Vladimir Klitschko has now vowed to fight against mighty Russia. As Ukraine grows its resistance force, the Olympic gold medalist has called for the isolation of Russia from all sporting events. His brother Vitaly Klitschko, who is now the mayor of Kyiv, is also fighting alongside his brother. Vladimir, in fact, has decided to fight alongside his brother. Take a look at this report.
Former professional boxer, Olympic gold medalist, two-time world heavyweight champion. Ukrainian boxing legend Vladimir Klitschko has now vowed to fight against mighty Russia. The 45-year-old has called for the isolation of Russia from all sporting events. Hall of Fame Vladimir says he will defend his country till his last breath.
This is our home. This is our home. Yes, there are a lot of refugees left towards west, but a lot are coming back. So the families were brought to the west, part of it, and a lot of men and women. I'm proud of our women standing strong, coming back, defending the country. This is our home.
He is not the only member of his family who is taking on Putin.
Bullshit. Sorry. Where is military target? This building is military target.
Vitaly Klitschko, who was undefeated WBC heavyweight champion and now the mayor of Kyiv, is also fighting alongside his brother Vladimir. Vitaly Klitschko has been mayor of Kyiv since 2014.
We will be defend our city. It's our homes. We never think to leave. It's our homes. We defend our children, family, our buildings, our city, and our future of Ukraine.
Klitschko brothers had also enlisted themselves earlier this month into the Ukrainian Reserve Army. The two big men, standing shoulder to shoulder, are in a fight unlike any they ever imagined. The prize for this one is not a championship belt, but the survival of their country itself. Bureau Report, India Today.
After 3 weeks of waging war, Ukraine and Russia are finally on the negotiation table. After 4 rounds of inconclusive talks, the two nations have come down to a 15-point peace plan. Will the delegations from both nations broker truce?
After 21 days of raging war, there is some hope for truce. Russia and Ukraine are finally in a mood to negotiate. After 4 inconclusive rounds of talks, the 5th one seemed to be a step in the direction of peace. Russia and Ukraine are now trying to chalk out a compromise formula, including neutrality status for Ukraine as one of the options. Under neutral status, Ukraine would become part of European Union but not NATO, like Austria and Sweden. Kyiv, however, has ruled out the Russian proposal. Ukraine wants a legally binding security pact signed by international partners. Ukrainian and Russian delegations have come up with the 15-point tentative peace plan. It lists the issue that needs to be resolved before a compromise. These include Ukraine declaring neutrality, limiting the Ukrainian armed forces, renouncing Kyiv's ambitions to join NATO, and prohibiting Ukraine from hosting foreign military bases in exchange of security. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has claimed the talks are heading in the right direction.
Це важливо. Складно, але важливо, тому що будь-яка війна завершується угодою. Зустрічі тривають. Як мені доповідають, позиції на переговорах звучать вже реалістичніше. Проте ще необхідний час, щоб рішення були в інтересах саме України.
While talks are going on, Russia's relentless bombing of Ukraine continues. The question everyone is asking now is, how soon can the two warring nations reach an agreement? Bureau Report, India Today.
To counter Russian death drones striking Ukraine, the United States is now supplying Ukraine with Switchblade drones which work on suicide mode. The small drones carrying warheads that detonate on impact. The Russia, in fact, on its part, has been using stealthy suicide drones to attack the Ukrainian army.
Ukraine standing up to Moscow's offensive despite weeks of ravaging assault, showing unparalleled courage and spirit rarely seen in recent times. Showing it can be a match to Moscow's superior military might and far sophisticated weaponry, but Russia on its part has been using stealthy suicide drones to attack the Ukrainian army. These unmanned drones, evading radar and traditional air defense system, can slip past enemy line of fire. This devil in the sky is lethal, using loitering munitions which wait passively in the air, hovering over the target before coming down in one deathly swoop. The drone falls head first along a vertical trajectory similar to kamikazes, a Japanese aircraft loaded with explosives, and making a deliberate suicidal crash on an enemy target. Russia is using these drones to make precision attacks on military targets in Ukraine. Each of them packs a small explosive charge up to 3 kgs. Targets are fed into the drone or through an image uploaded on its control system. The drone then finds its target and drops itself to blow the target into smithereens. These loitering munition drones are multi-purpose and used as part of a swarm of drones, flying silently as fast as 130 km per hour with a flight duration of 30 minutes. To counter Russian depth drones, the US is now supplying Ukraine with Switchblade drones, which works in similar kamikaze fashion. The small drones made by AeroVironment Ammunition Major carrying warhead detonate on impact. Bureau Report, India Today.
For nearly 24 days, India Today's team of reporters and video journalists Gaurav Sawant, Geeta Mohan, Shweta Singh, Pawan Kumar and Mohsen Khan were in the war zone of Ukraine. From shelling to missile attacks to air raids, India Today's team reported from the front lines. When the capital Kyiv was under siege, Gaurav Sawant and his camera person Pawan were there. Here's what they saw.
The territorial defense force. area. We are being told to leave this area because it's not safe to be here. You can hear some blasts that are taking place in this area.
The bombs fell dangerously close. There was smell of explosives and fear in the air. But there was also the steely determination to fight, to defend Ukraine from Russian tanks and missiles.
So of course we are expecting enemies from some parts, and so of course they would like to make a circle around Kyiv, but so we are ready to meet him, and so our military forces they are very nice in protecting now, so they are firing all the techniques, all the tanks.
This is Irpin, and this is where a very fierce battle is currently taking.
India today was on the ground for over a month. Before the conflict broke out on the February 24th, graduating scholars at the prestigious Taras Shevchenko University had taken a resolve to fight. We spoke to a number of budding lawyers graduating from the university.
Yeah, I want it to be sorted out by diplomatics, by lawyers, as it is not legally for Russia to go in Ukraine and just ask for some territory or some resources. But if they go to us, we will take actions. I think that everyone will not just leave country and go to Russia.
There was a steel in their voice. They may or may not have agreed with their president on joining the NATO, but they wanted to take their own decisions, and if it meant taking to the trenches, they did.
Images on your television screen now tell you more about the military movement that's taking place towards the battle zone. Now this is where one convoy after the other. We are on the high street here in Mariupol, and military convoy, one after the other, heading towards the front lines.
A Russian attack intensified and the rail track came in the line of fire. India Today team was stuck for over 13 hours, locked in a train.
कई घंटों से ये ट्रेन रेलवे स्टेशन पर ही है। 9 बजे ये ट्रेन खुलनी थी और अब कई घंटे हो गए हैं ये नहीं निकल रही।
With trains not moving, driving out of Mariupol amidst advancing Russian forces was the only way. India Today team came directly in the line of fire.
यहाँ पर कर्फ्यू है, हम लोग फिर भी सड़कों पर हैं। उन्होंने हमारे ऊपर हथियार तान के रखा है।
At another instance, the Ukrainian army put a gun to our head amidst fears of targeting of their checkpoints.
यहाँ बमबारी की भी आवाज सुनकर आ रही है।
Around the capital Kyiv, it was a story of destruction and ruin.
The broken bridge and broken lives. Now a desperate attempt being made to rescue senior citizens. Easier said than done. An effort is being made to rescue these people from this broken bridge. Now this place in the Bucha district in Irpin is directly in the line of Russian fire.
The suburbs of Kyiv were in ruins.
Ukrainian army is attempting to stop the advance of the Russian army, and look at the desperate measures. There is a train track. Goods trains have been parked in the middle of the road. This is a track that crosses this. Now, right now, vehicles can pass through this, but should the Russian advance be closed, and there are red lines at every flag and red flags being put. The moment those red lines are breached, this track will be closed.
Brewery had a similar tale to tell.
This is not a main blockade. This is a secondary blockade. And why so many tires here? This is important to know. These are here so that in case main blockade is breached there and Russian forces are advancing, they can be put to fire. And once they are put to fire, this road is denied to any convoy of Russian army coming towards Brewery and onwards to Kyiv.
And there were also soldiers who loved Bollywood.
What was the Hindi song that you were singing? Jim, do you like that song? Bollywood.
As the firing and shelling intensified, India Today met the governor and military commander of the Kyiv region, Oleksiy Kuleba, who scanned maps to plan multiple levels of resistance blocks to keep Russian forces away from Kyiv.
1 hour ago, we have a problem with gas because we have a damage from airplane, Russian rocket, and we made decision, and nearly 100 people will have no gas at all.
There was also an Indian-Ukrainian family of Kuldeep and Oksana Kumar, who despite 22 days of constant shelling refused to abandon their home and their city.
What's your message? What would you want to tell your relatives, your friends, the family in Russia or the leadership in Russia?
Что ты хочешь говорить российский, который наши там друзья, если есть семьи, которые
родственникам? Не нужно никому войны. Не отпускайте своих детей на нашу землю.
अपने बच्चों को यहाँ पर वार के लिए मत भेजो.
И пусть будет мир во всем мире.
और मैं चाहती हूँ कि पूरी दुनिया में पीस रहे.
The battle lines have now shrunk from the borders of the country to the borders of the city. Despite the talks and attempts at peace, both Russia and Ukraine appear to be gearing up for the next round of conflict. With Gaurav Sawant, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, before we slip into a very short break, even in times of utmost difficulty, the Ukrainian army has refused to give up. One of the army personnel kept the morale of his fellow army men high by playing the national anthem on a violin. Listen in.